Hi everyone, welcome to the new moon in Pisces video. Today we're going to cover an aspect that will impact all of us over the course of next 2 weeks and what will give us an opportunity to plant the seeds of something new which will give fruits over the course of next 6 months. This is the new moon in Pisces that is happening on 13th of March, which will pan out over the course of next 2 weeks. It gives us an opportunity over the course of next 2 weeks to start something new, something very soulful that is part of our dreams, that is part of the mystery of life, that is part of what is so magical about our life. It's very seductive new moon. It is a very beautiful new moon. We have both Venus and Neptune joining together, blessing this new moon, giving us an opportunity to look at life from a different perspective. Look at life from a healing perspective. Look at life from a forgiving perspective. Learning to move forward on a more positive note from where we have been. The last 2 weeks we were under the influence of full moon in Virgo, which has, like every full moon, has its place in completing things, in bringing tasks to fruition, bringing out problems to solve, tasks to finish, order to attain, and bringing out some sort of efficiency in our day-to-day life, responsibilities to cater to. Now, Pisces new moon gives us a new perspective over the things that we have been doing. It could be a project that we might have completed. It could be an actual job we might be working on. It could be a responsibility that we have to cater to. And Pisces gives a very different perspective, almost a different lens to look at life from, so we can move forward in a more positive fashion on that. Pisces is very much to me end of life scenario. I call this video at the gates of hell or heaven because Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, it's always to me a threshold. It always to me a threshold of choice because it's a dual sign, and like all dual sign, Pisces has the ability to go either ways. It has the ability through its spirituality, through its soulfulness, through its strength and soul. It has the ability to create based on intention, based on collective intention. It has the ability to create heaven on earth or hell on earth. Similarly, the projects, the creative ventures, the intentions that are set right now, they have that kind of strength. They had that kind of potential in it, especially because of the degree, a very potent degree at which this new moon is happening, which is 23 degree of Pisces, and we will have a synod starting in 2022 at this very degree in early 2022, and it will color 2022 for us. That is Jupiter and Neptune coming together in Pisces after 13 years in the sign of Pisces. In the sign of Pisces specifically, Jupiter and Neptune came together last in 1856. So after 166 years is when they are coming together. They come together every year in different signs. So the last cycle was not in Pisces. We are coming to a conclusion in an Aquarius cycle. And these two planets together, they are very much about optimism, about dreams, about expectations, about idealism, and we see a lot of that rife, a lot of that being planted right now, a lot of that being seeded right now. This is divinity on earth, which Neptune and Jupiter together they try to create. They try to create compassion, inspiration, positive thinking, camaraderie between people, thinking of yourself as being part of the whole that the universe is. And Jupiter, to some extent, tries to create and expand the qualities of Neptune, which is compassion, which is love, which is idealism. But as I said, these are dual energies. Neptune is both idealism, and idealism really walks the thin line of deception as well. So somebody with the not so positive intention can create deception as well. So Jupiter and Neptune cycle, like all dual sign ruled cycle, can have polarities in it to the extreme. And we'll see those polarities getting seeded in the month of March. when Neptune is making aspects with all the personal planets and this new moon is happening. And next year, we will see whatever is being seeded expand dramatically in 2022, when after close to 166 years, Jupiter and Neptune are coming together to create new ideology, to create new spirituality, to impact how we expand in creativity, in spirituality, in compassion for each other. This is very much a religious cycle as well. Religion will be changed in some ways with Neptune and Jupiter coming together. The world of spirituality, the world of creativity will have a new chapter, a new renaissance with these two together in Pisces. Sigmund Freud was born when Jupiter and Neptune were together in Pisces. We had Robert Freire, who claimed discovery of North Pole. Dreamers were born. Nikola Tesla was born when Jupiter and Neptune were together in Pisces. So dreamers, authors, discoverers who imagined a world beyond our current one were born. But this is very different from Aquarius in the nature, where Aquarius is happening in parallel, but Pisces is more about having an idealism embedded into a dreamy quality embedded into it. And Pisces faces many unexpected circumstances in life, which is not really appreciated sometimes as a sign, because there is an underlying quality of self-sacrifice which is embedded in the 12th sign. As I said, Pisces is like, to me, is like standing on the gates of death in some ways. It's the last sign in our evolution through the zodiacs. So when you are at that moment in your life, it is almost that, and it's not negative. It is not morbid in nature. This is not about morbidity. This is about thinking from a different perspective, from a soul perspective, like you would if you were standing at the end of your life. Would you be doing this? Would you be doing the projects you're doing? Would you be dealing with people in that fashion? Would you be holding on to this? Would you be making enemies? Would you be showing compassion? Different perspectives, same problems, is what Pisces season and Pisces new moon is all about. It shifts our perspective. It's a mutable sign. It's about changing our perspective about life. So it's always a step towards what you're going, and on the way to it, Pisces changes your perspective about the journey itself, and that changes where we are going. It helps you start a practice which connects you to your soul, to the nerve of your existence, which allows you to handle the day-to-day in a very different fashion from before. Every season, every sign, every new moon, every full moon is part of our evolution. And Pisces new moon always evolves our faith, evolves our soul, evolves our ability to dream more in life. It sort of adds, if we have been too much of realistic in life, it sort of stands between Sagittarius and Gemini, right? So it's the midpoint between the North Node and the South Node. It sort of is trying to create this balance between the left brain and the right brain. It's eliminating the chatter, creating a quiet, so you can decide forward. You can decide forward action based on values you place on your life. It's the gate of heaven and hell. Value you place on your life is sort of, it's immense in this moment. The fact that your life is precious, every life has a purpose, every life is precious. It becomes very evident in this new moon, and with that comes an urgency to some extent for soul to do something meaningful. For soul to create something meaningful that you feel you would want to leave at the gates of heaven or hell. 23 degree of Pisces in Samian astrology is depicted as a materializing medium giving a seance. Ability of a person to use its own vital energy to substantiate either one's conscious ideals or unconscious desires. If you feel you have a gift, a mission, a mandate in life, and we all do, a gift that adds value to community in some way. With the Pisces new moon, we are driven to substantiate that belief with results, substantiate that dream with putting our life into something and bringing that to reality. In the seance, the medium gives her body, her energy, her voice, her life to what she's creating. Neptune and Pisces requires some sacrifice because it's something very deeply personal that you're offering, that you're surrendering. So you are expected to face vulnerability in that moment. As I said, Pisces face many unexplained circumstances in life, which is not very well appreciated about the signs, that don't allow them to live on the surface. And some, in the process of evolution, some of the sign, either you have any planets over there, your house over there, you'll see that part of your life. Sometimes we go for deception in that because we don't want to swim in those waters. We don't want to go for that evolution. But for any evolved sign, any part of your chart where Pisces is evolving, in that journey there is a lot of self-sacrifice involved. Wherever Pisces is in your chart, a lot of self-sacrifice is required. There's devotion to life's meaning there. The very knowing about this, that life is fragile. And because of that, it's not about morbidity, as I said. It's not about thinking of death. It's about thinking of the continuance of the soul. And yes, the body and this physical existence is fragile, but I got to leave something from my soul over here as I pass on. So they want people to see what they see in that process. And that is insightful. And that's what this season and this new moon offers. It offers an insight into life beyond the physical issues, the enemies, the small, gaps in the vision. This is when a dream is born and you don't really want to be critical about it. And it's okay to be idealistic about it at this stage. It is okay to be seduced by it. It is okay to get guidance from and symbolism is very much highlighted. It's okay to get symbolism at this stage to be your guide. It's the time when we balance the left and the right brain, because in the Virgo full moon, a lot of your left brain is activated. A lot of the practical part of your functioning of the body and the brain is activated and used and made efficient. But the Pisces season and the Pisces new moon is all about, developing a different muscle, which is intuition, your guidance, your imagination, your creativity, your ability to forgive, your ability to heal yourself, the ability to accept help, to accept support, to accept blessings, to accept and receive the gifts that you have been given, to become more open to receive as a medium that we are of God's gifts in some ways, or higher powers and the gifts that we have. And in that, we become very excited to make people see what we see, the insightfulness that they have. And this is a very Pisces quality. A lot of people don't like the embellishments that a Pisces sometimes does. I'm a Pisces Mercury. I love embellishments in my speaking, in my writing. But the embellishments are not just embellishments. That is how sometimes they see the world. They want people to see what they see. And in this season, you would want an ideal vision to be seen by other people. The insightfulness that you have, the unseen mysteries you see in what you're doing, the wonders of your own life is something that you would want to bring out. And that brings out the love for life, that brings out the love for the collective. And Pisces is a sign always going into uncharted territories. They're not uh, impulsive, but they have this sense of that there's more to life, the sense of understanding a life that goes beyond the surface. The soul's enlightenment is much more important than knowing where you left the keys. So, you see life as wonderful. So we get forgetful about the practicalities during this time, because you're seeing something beyond that, and you are required to see something beyond that. Every season, every full moon, every new moon has its element that needs to be imbibed as a part of our evolution. So seeing life as wonderful as it is, they sort of look for ideal, even though they're dreamy with one foot in heaven or hell of their imagination. They're not impulsive. There's a lot of meticulous soul searching that goes through. Oh man, it's exhaustive. I'm an Aries. I'm really exhausted in this season, because it's also the end of cycle for a Aries. But overall, just living as a Pisces, it's just, and we are swimming in the water of Pisces for the next 2 weeks. There's a lot of soul searching, a very different kind of meticulous research that happens. It's searching within yourself, whether is this for me, is this fulfilling my soul purpose, is this the seeds that I'm sowing for, is that healing me, is it helping the world, am I forgiving who I need to forgive, am I sitting and channeling what I need to channel as a person? Am I letting the words flow? Am I letting the talents flow? Or I'm overthinking the situation and not letting my creative imagination give birth to something magnificent? So there's a lot of soul searching and intuition. And as I said, intuition is a muscle. We grow that in Pisces area of our life. And it is very lucrative to us to be able to do that. Wherever Pisces is in your chart, developing intuition as a muscle in that area of your life, letting things flow, being a medium, being more flexible, being more adaptable, being more open to ideas in that part of our life is something. Even there are qualities that are attached negatively to a sign, to an archetype in the sign. Doesn't mean the entire sign is like that, but the qualities that are assigned to a sign, like suggestibility, that they're more suggestible. Pisces, that more open to ideas as a medium, can also be interpreted as suggestible. Even those negative qualities have their place wherever Pisces in your chart, because that is the area in your life where you're supposed to be able to change your mind. So there could be something in the last 2 weeks that you were doing, and it's sort of a time to maybe change your mind about it. It's a midpoint. It's a midpoint of North Node and South Node, where you're coming from and where you're going. It's a midpoint to that. It's not a destination, but it is a very critical point of that journey, because it sort of helps you get to where you need to go by adding an element that you were missing before. There will be a need to release some preconceived notion here. The South Node in Sagittarius, releasing some ideas, some rigid expectation. And there'll be a need to shift over to the other side of your brain, consulting your intuition, consulting your gut, wheeling things out, seeing signs, feeling indicators before embarking on something new. To eliminate the chatter and quiet, to decide forward action based on the values you place on your life. This is the gate of heaven or hell. The value you place on your life is immense, and that becomes very evident right now. Your life is precious. Every life has a purpose. So the affirmation that comes into mind during this new moon to me: life is wonderful. Its value is beyond any of our imagination. I choose my response to life. I choose to act on wonderful, creative, imaginative ideas that are filling my soul. I choose to work on things that inspire me. I offer my inspiration, my empathy to others. And I choose to see them as part of my world. I choose to see the others in my life as not so much as others, but part of the collective that I belong to. I choose to flow with the current of my life. I choose to flow with the current of my life force and not against it. I can balance this vision with practical steps. Even if I can't list them right now, I have faith that each step of my path will reveal itself to me as I walk, as it always does. I'll take a step that is required of me right now, and the next one will open up. I have a fountain of eternal wisdom within me, and I'll call upon that. I'll call upon my own intuition, my own voice, and I promise to not judge that voice, for she's all that's visionary about me. I will let that voice reach the stars, but I promise her that I will put roots to its dreams. I will walk the steps that lead to that imagination. I'm awake, I'm alive, in my body, promising myself to live the heaven of my spirit on earth, right here, right now. You will seek something beyond your daily experience here. You won't know where it is leading, because intuition and faith, they are the muscles you are developing during this sign. But all the Pisces practices, whether it's yoga, it's meditation, it's swimming, it's fashion, it's arts, it's drama, it's music, all of those practices that are linked to the zodiac sign of Pisces, they are helpful to balance our left and right brain. They use our creative, nebulous thoughts to create something real. And that is what this degree of Pisces is all about. It's about substantiation of the dream. And as I said, we are sowing the seed right now. Once Jupiter and Neptune get together in 2022, it's the time to expand that dream. It's the time to make it bigger than it is. It's the time to bring it on the screen. It's the time of, Neptune is all about magic, media, marketing. You might be looking at putting seeds to all of that right now under the Neptune influence on this new moon. You might be starting a new yoga meditation practice. Fashion, arts, drama, music. So when Jupiter gets there, it's the time to influence. Let everybody know about it fully. But this vision right now is going to be idealistic. We have to be honest with each other right now that there are going to be problems in that which you're not seeing right now. Because when Neptune will go retrograde later in this year, on 25th of June all the way till October, when Neptune goes retrograde, it's the time to demystify the idealism. So you would go back and forth on that vision. Embellishment will fall off at that time to see what are the practical issues with it, what we are not seeing right now. But that's not how a seed is sown. Seed is sown out of inspiration. It is sown out of creative idealism, ideal vision to some extent. So what might seem like a creative distraction right now, it can help you guide to a specific focus. It can bring the much needed bend in the road. As I said, this is a T square. It's not the destination. So even if you may not be starting something creative, you may not be starting something Neptunian right now, this is a practice, a creative distraction that will help guide you to that specific focus. It will bring about that much needed bend in the road. Has it happened to you sometimes that just listening to music, or just being in the moment, or having a yoga practice, having stillness, going for a swim, going for a walk, writing something creative, drawing something, doing something which activates the right side of your brain, the creative side of your brain, the very it's I think called lateral thinking, right? So the where the unconscious comes into play. Sometimes leveraging that part of your brain, it suddenly helps you on something meticulous you were working on, something left brain you were working on, something analytical working on. So it's sort of the next 2 weeks working on some creative distraction even. It will help you guide to a specific focus. As I said, all the Neptunian practices, yoga, meditation, swimming, fashion, arts, drama, music, they help us balance the right and the left brain. And that's what you're trying to do right now. Imagination fuels invention. Sometimes imagination itself is the end product. Sometimes it's the food to get there. Sometimes it is the creative distraction that we need, the bend in the road that we need to get there. It colors the dull chores. It makes an uninviting prospect into fun production. It adds color of love and enjoyment of life. It sort of gives us the glasses that we need to look at life in a more beautiful fashion. And what happens is the downside of Pisces always is getting scattered, right? So give it a aim, in writing, in advertisement, service and healing, life coach channel, theater, inspiration, art, music, drama, dance, video, telepathy, entertainment, love and care, devotion, deep sensuality, meditation, philanthropy, filming, media, psychic, naturopathy, self-development, voluntary, paranormal. All of these are ways to express this energy, the way to activate the lateral thinking. And that lateral thinking opens a door to something rational. By releasing the resistance in some ways, releasing this, fighting the current of life, it puts you in a state where the door opens. Placing belief in your hopes or dreams, an ideal that can, believing that the ideal that you have in your mind can actually exist in reality, trusting your values, trusting your beliefs, that the fact that your life is an expression of everything that you're thinking about, having faith in that process. It sort of unlocks something in Pisces season with the T-squares that are going to happen. Mutable T-squares are about bend in a road, change in direction. And it's okay to feel misunderstood right now. We will be very sensitive. Pisces, having so many planets in Pisces does make us sensitive to both the negative and the positive currents. So it's okay to feel misunderstood. Your vision or your imagination may not be in grasp of others right now. So we have to avoid the downside of that feeling victimhood at that time when this happens. No victimhood at this time. It's just as an imagination. It's ahead of time, being inspired, enjoying that, finding new ways to convey our brilliant ideas, because we are also learning how to express them. They're new to us as well. It's all right if we are also just learning to express our ideas, learning to be heard, learning to be understood in a new language that we are speaking in. Something that is still esoteric, boundless in some ways. There is no need yet to put, restriction on it, because people will not take it. People don't understand it. I'm misunderstood. I don't think I will be. This is going to be very popular. It's very early in the game to subject your vision to all of this. Your vision should never be subjected to it. But at this time, we are just learning to crawl, learning to express our ideas. And it is so nascent in our own mind at this time. It's about just adding the hopeful charm to it at this time, and use the Venus, use the charm, use the compassion to convince, if you have to convince somebody on anything. It's about using the indirect route than the direct route right now to if you are in a process of convincing somebody about your idea as well, use the longer route, use the artistic flair. Use the artistic flair in everything right now, in your home, in your career. Pisces is like bottomless pot of creativity and compassion right now. Everybody is influenced by it right now. And at the same time, Pisces, as I said, requires a little bit of selfless sacrifice, a little bit of giving without expecting, compassion without expecting, giving love without expecting, giving something without getting on the victimhood part of it, giving without name, charity without name, philanthropy without name, doing things without being asked for. We have Venus right now exalted in Pisces as well. It's very, very strong. It makes us emotionally bound to others. We want to take care of people. It gives us a capability of love without expectation. It's a great time for Venusian activities, for poetry, for music, for creative ventures, for love, for, but love which is at a soul level. Because with Venus and Neptune together, there's idealism there. And where idealism, as I said, walks a very thin line of having exaggerated expectation, which can never come true because they're too idealistic. But at the same time, you can be on the higher octave of it, which is soulful, loving somebody without expecting them to be everything and anything to you. Forgiving people at this time. Not letting yourself be victimized financially very much. That's one warning I'll give you. When Venus and Neptune are together, it brings out financial schemes out of the woodworks which are never gonna come true. So be a bit careful about financial matters right now. But very important to make work fun, choosing work you love, that gives you satisfaction. It will give you avenues for that. And the ruler of this new moon, which is Jupiter, is in Aquarius right now. So the opportunities come through networking. The growth comes, in doing things which have a wider impact, which involve technology, which have humanitarian aspects to it, which use platforms to get there. If you have not watched yet the videos I had done in December, what is the source of your next 20 years of growth by sign, I would request you to see that. It's very, very crucial for this year. Because as I said, everything you're going to be doing right now, they're all catered to opening that part of your chart, which is something innovative you're doing in the part of your chart where Aquarius is sitting. And that's where you're unlocking growth opportunities. And this is a stepping stone towards that. This is a bend in the road to get you there. Don't undervalue your contribution in life. That is one of the things that is the pitfall of the sign archetype of Pisces. Don't undervalue that you don't have something valuable to give to the collective. Each one of us has a mission. Each one of us has a purpose. We are creating structure around it, so we can contribute that in a meaningful way. When you undervalue yourself, the gratitude to life is lost in some ways. So gratitude to life, to yourself, to your body. Life is a healing journey. Where we transform our talents into tangible gifts. And this new moon has a very important place in that. 2022 has a very important result linked to that. Idealize life, not people. It's one of the very important lessons of Pisces new moon. Idealize the the synchronous events that put a person in your path. In love, idealizing the story that has been weaved through which that person came into your life is much more important than that person itself. Idealize life and the fact that such a perfect story has been written for you versus the perfect person. Idealize the perfection that is your life plan. Every step that is coming on the way is getting you to where you need to go. Every person, every event is getting us to where we need to go. This is the time when we are in mutable season. All the planets are moving into mutable sign, into Pisces. Rigidity is going away when that happens. It's the time to shake off any semblance of rigidity. And that's what, as I said, the practices of linked to Pisces season, acupuncture, yoga, flexibility. It's about opening your muscles, opening your chakras. So the reserve of energy that is pent up in our body, that rigidity exhausts, is taken off. That's what acupuncture does, yoga does. It's like a prick on a point where the energy is blocked. And it's the time to invite fresh energy. It's the time to release the pent up rigidity and invite fresh energy that the fire season of Aries will bring in the coming week. New vitality, each part of our body. That's what all the chakras are about. How we sort of do chakra cleaning, or we sort of work on through yoga. Sahasrara, the top of the head, the crown of our head, the first chakra. It connects to the spirit, to life's beauty. Ajna, the chakra between our eyebrows, linked to intuition, imagination. Third eye, the mind. Our throat, Vishuddhi, communication, self-expression. Ether. Chest above the heart. Anahata, love, inner peace, air element, linked to vibration, linked to motion, linked to changeability. These are the individual chakras, and what is connected to them is impacted by energy being stuck or released in that part of our body, in that chakra of our body. The organs and chakras are not the same thing, but the energy is considered to be constricted or released in those organs, and it affects or not affects in a positive or negative effect the health of those organs. Like stomach, Manipura chakra, fire element is linked to stomach. So light, color, heat, vibrancy helps that part of our body. Self-esteem, power and fear blocks those chakras. Swadhisthana, above the root chakra, the sacrum chakra, reproductive cycle. Most of the women they're aware that the reproductive cycle, it's linked to the water element, reconnecting with the flexible part of ourself, the softness, the compassion, the devotion, the coolness, the flexibility of our nature that helps with the reproductive cycle. The fixed nature constricts that. And the softness, the compassion, the devotion, the mindfulness helps in releasing that. Muladhara, the root chakra, the base of our spine, basic human instincts, survival, the earth element of our body. So this is a very good season to sort of have those practices that helps us release those pent up inflexibility, any rigidity in the body, rigidity in our life. Essentially, it's the time to release a little bit of that through practices that help us do that. And as I said, with 23 degree of Pisces, you're looking at materializing it. You sort of are, the constructive aspect is substantiation of the dream. The shadow aspect is deception always, with Neptune and with Pisces as a sign. What is the motive? What is the motive behind inducing that seance? As I said, at 23 degree of Pisces, what are we trying to, why are we trying to do this? What is the motivation behind it? What is the soul's purpose behind this? It establishes whether we are creating the hell or heaven on earth. The final conjunction that will happen next year between Jupiter and Neptune, which will start a new cycle happening after 166 years on 12th of April 2022. The exact degree is 24 degree, the next degree of Pisces. There will be, it calls upon the need to perform individual dharma, our place, our function. Why were we born? It sort of is all consuming. It's like throwing yourself in a cause that will survive the death of your body. As I said, you're standing on that gate, and what you're creating, what you leave behind, you're recognizing that your contribution is going to live beyond you. That contribution to history is what you're doing right now. And this is not a subtle corrosion of falsity which, you know, Pisces or Neptune is attached with. This is the degree of discovery of Uranus. So it's like, you know, voila, Albert Einstein was born on this degree. So it's like at a subconscious level, this is a very much a eye-opening new moon. It's not subtle. It's like when, as I said, when you are at the end of life, what do you want to leave behind? And 2025, it seems long time to go, but it's not. 2025, 26, it's like there's a new world formation kind of aspects which are forming when the outer planets are all going to be sextiling and trining with each other. It's all about creating a new world. It's sort of the foundation of that new world we are contributing to. It's a history that you and I are both contributing to. We're recognizing our part in that. One thing that this specific degree also threw off to me is, you know, and I've been speaking about it in the new moon and the full moons we've been doing, a lot of these are happening closer to the degree that we had 2019 full moons and new moons too. So to me, the 2020 was like a bridge between 2019 to 2021, where in 2022, structurally, we as a society changed, our brain chemistry changed. So it's almost like things that we did in 2019, which came to fruition in 2019, we are being given a new opportunity to do something in that area differently. So September of 2019, we had a full moon in Pisces, very close in degree to where the new moon is happening. So it's like something got announced, maybe finalized, maybe in your head, in your mind, in your thought process, or in actual communication in September of 2019. And now it's like do things differently. We have changed as a person over the course of 2021. So the choices we made in 2019, we are not going to make those choices in 2020 when the similar 2021 when the similar situations are faced. Like you accepted a job, accepted a project, decided to do something. You make a different choice on those subjects in 2021, and that's definitely evident in this new moon to me. This new moon is happening at a fixed star called Markab. It's called the saddle. It's a steady point. It's, as I said, it's a steady point to go to bigger things. So you're finding the saddle of Pegasus, which is what the constellation it calls. It forms a square in the sky. So it's linked to sort of a square focused action and ability. So something is, you're forming a steady ground to help you launch something bigger. So you might be, you know, it's like having a meditation, having a faith, having a yoga practice, having some creative venture, having embellishments added to what you've been doing before. It gives you the steady ground to go to the next level. So it's a steady point which helps you to get to focused action, and possibly also indicates knowledge, learning. The sort of a worldview is put in from just an individual perspective to a wider perspective is important. And it's very important because the next step that we're getting to on 26th of March after this is Mars and North Node. So from a very nebulous energy, we're shifting to focused action with Mars and North Node. Mars and North Node conjunction, which is happening on 26th of March. We'll start feeling that from 21st of March. It's a very strong aspect. Mars and North Node together is great strength, focused strength. It's sort of like you would want to have a steady ground before you get there. Sort of, it's like, as I explained, sometimes to have a good day ahead where you can work on practical things, you need to get 1 hour in the morning of meditation, focusing on yourself, focusing on soul to some extent, because that focused action is not possible before you do that. People who have those practice in the morning or workout or have some sort of morning practice would know this. The whole day, the direction of the focused action during the whole day does not exist without having that stable saddle at the start of the morning. This new moon is sort of that saddle to the Pegasus. So the Pegasus is, in my view, coming on 26th of March when we have Mars conjunct North Node at 13 degree of Gemini. Very, very strong, very, very strong, not just for us, but for the world, because it's in Gemini. Somebody's going to say something. Mars and North Node together is always about a forceful speech. World's most famous whistleblower, Edward Snowden, had this degree. So somebody is going to say something and it has a strong connection with the US chart, with Russia, with Trump. And last it happened in 2002 in the zodiac sign of Gemini, and that was the axis of evil speech that was given. So there's a, in our personal capacity, there's a inclination to be impulsive and reckless and sort of words to go in a very forceful manner. Words have power, they have force, and we have ability to either cause a lot of damage or use that fearless strength to create something very substantial, acting on project plans, creating a very forceful message, communication area, thought process, intellectual work. Mars and North Node is a very focused energy. It's not afraid, it's fearless, it has a lot of tenacity to it. In Gemini, we are able to use our thought process to create something substantial. So physically, you'll feel really, really out of your skin. It's like Mars will be out of bounds, which is it. When Mars is out of bounds, we know no bounds to our process. To Mars is our physical energy. It's almost like you really don't know your boundaries when Mars is out of bounds. So actions are boundless, which is very positive to start something. You want to really, this is happening in Aries season, so you want to really start something new. It gets you pumped up, it gets you mentally pumped up. You can really put intellectual stuff to launch it, to put it on a very strong path with it. But you got to be very, very careful about channeling this immense energy, because words will have power to destroy or to create. With Mars and North Node, they will be very karmic words which will be said. Very karmic words were said in January of 2002 when axis of evil speech was given, when these two were together around in Gemini around these degrees. We'll talk a little bit more about it, but that's something you want to be careful about because it starts activating. It gets activated around 21st of March. Even now, Mars is in Gemini, so words can, when Mars is in Gemini, we very quick to think, very quick to say, very quick to act, and it gives an immense opportunity to ideate. And when Mars is in Gemini, it's almost like if I go for a walk, I can remove a creative block, or I can remove any blockage in thinking. Like walking is connected to thinking. When Mars is in Gemini, you think faster if you're walking, or if you're just physically active. It activates your mind, but the actions are also activated by your mind at an accelerated state. It's almost like before you know it, you have said something really hurtful to somebody. So got to be careful with the words, got to be careful that this impulsive reckless energy which comes after 21st of March is used in a very constructive fashion. In some ways, it's used for intellect, it's used to ideate, it's used to bring your ideas to fruition. It makes you very bold, fearless, and you got to use that energy to bring your dreams to life. but we'll see it pan out in a very tangible fashion as it did in 2002 in the political sphere. Something to look forward to, or maybe not in some ways. So Pluto goes retrograde in April. We have everything direct before 27th of April. So use this energy, get the ship sailing with Aries season coming up. We're starting a new chapter, but find your saddle with this new moon. Find the saddle with this new moon, and there's something that you might have not seen before, which will be shown to you in the Pisces season, which is what it is for. It is to show the things that lie below the surface that we just did not see because we were using a very different part of our brain, and we were not adding this gentleness to our perspective. We were not adding this healing to our perspective. We're not giving ourselves and others the opportunity to move on from the past, in some ways. And it's very much a season to be compassionate both to yourself and to others to some extent, so you can forgive and move forward to some extent. Good luck for that. I hope this helps. I'll try to do the by sign how where Pisces is in your chart, in your birth chart, so you can possibly use this to see how this affects your 2022 as well, because as I said, this will become a big theme for you in 2022 with Jupiter moving into Pisces. You'll see a preview of that after May. From mid of May to end of July, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, will be in Pisces, and it will come for full transit from 28th of December this year to all the way to end of next year. So whatever you initiate now, put the seeds up now, it's more going to grow big and huge in 2022 once you have Jupiter and Neptune together there. Before that, some amount of reconditioning will be required. Things are not fixed in Pisces season. So what is given birth to right now needs to have flexibility to change, to edit, to reform in some ways, because you'll see another perspective of that going forward. Good luck for that, and I'll see you in the next video now.